Abu Dhabi, I really like the track, especially the last sector, which is all quite narrow, technical, sort of low speeds to medium speed where you need to carry a lot of minimum speed. It's difficult to overtake, so qualifying is super important. And usually, the focus is on this last sector where you have most of the corners and where you can make the difference. So as a driver, also with the car, if you set it really well for this last sector to gain some good lap time. So it's also a night race. It starts like end of the day and finish in the night. So it's quite. Even though it's hot, the track is not so warm, but it's quite challenging for the rear tires. So it's one of these tracks where you also need to find a compromise between all the corners. But on the driving side, you have some high-speed corner in the first sector, you have some big braking in the second with all the straight line and slow chicane, and then a lot of rhythm in the last sector. So a mix of corner that I really like.
The choice of downforce level, so which rear wing you want to fit to the car, it's always a big discussion because you will have higher downforce wing, which are good for qualifying when you've got DRS open, but equally you want to keep a bit of top speed on the car to be able to race, so it's always a bit of a tricky discussion. It's a track which is quite difficult for drivers and engineers because we have a bit less track time because FP1, FP3, the track is quite hot, normally quite dusty. So everything gets up to speed. And really in terms of car balance and setup, most of the work is made in FP2 during qualifying with what we do with aero balance on the car. So a bit less time to set up the car and a bit more compromise for downforce level.
Being the last race of the season, there is always a really cool atmosphere because everybody wants to finish on a high. All the energy you have left from the year, everybody just give their best and give their maximum to just make sure we finish on the best result possible to end up well the season with the team. So I think it's always quite cool when you cross the finish line and you have all these fireworks in the night, especially if you get some good points with it. It's I think a pretty cool way of finishing a good season.
Actually, in Abu Dhabi, as soon as we cross the line, it's not quite finished for us because the first thing we have to do is to prepare for the test because we have a test after the race of 2 days with both drivers. So straight after the race, the first thing we do is think about what we can do better for next year, try to prepare whatever we can to understand the limitations and prepare test items for the following car. So in terms of the pressure of the race season, and being in the race and scoring the points, it does go down, but the work is not quite fully finished. We still have some more days after that.